Hi there and welcome to my first YouTube video about the Sitecore Experience Accelerator. Today I want to show you a little bit more about the module I've seen more in detail during Sitecore Symposium in New Orleans in 2016. My name is Christopher Wojcich and I'm working for netzkern in Wuppertal, Germany. Of course you can reach me via email or via Twitter. And what I want to go with you today or show you today is what this module is all about, what you can do with this, how you install it, and the simple configuration, as well as finally build a pretty straightforward website with it. So what's the Experience Accelerator? With the Experience Accelerator you can create simple websites pretty easy, and you can build them using a wireframe mode, so you have a bunch of modules already there which you can drag and drop onto your website and just wireframe the site. After you wireframe the site, you can export this to HTML and then go style it and upload it back in. So in pretty easy terms, you can just build a website with a few clicks. I think it's pretty cool for easy websites, so you can pretty straightforward build single page application with it if you want to use the already created components. If you involve a little bit more customization, it takes effort to do, but then you can reuse those modules, of course. So just in case you have tons of ideas for landing pages laying around which you want to build but actually never found time to do it, now you can speed things up a little bit by creating reusable components, drag and drop them to your site, and I think for landing pages it's pretty awesome. With the installation you just need to install the Powershell module and nothing comes up, and the Powershell module is pretty awesome and pretty cool to use, by the way. You just also need to set up some host names, so you can configure your host names for new pages within the dialogues. But of course you need to map them in the IIS and of course in the DNS system. And I would recommend to think about a structure, how you want to group your sites. If you have already prepared a bunch of sites, you can share content and can share themes within a tenant, but not between tenants. And finally, let's go and I will show you what the module is all about. Okay folks, so finally let's do some work in Sitecore. Here we are at the Sitecore backend. This is a freshly installed Sitecore A2 instance. And now I want you to show you the steps you have to do in order to finish the Sitecore Experience Accelerator module. So first we have to install the Powershell module, which you can download in the Sitecore marketplace. And I already downloaded it, and finally I need just to upload it in Sitecore via the control panel and then have the Experience Accelerator installed. So this was the installation of Powershell. Now let's head on and install the Experience Accelerator. Alright, so a straightforward installation, no errors, nothing came up, and we are good to go. You can verify that the Sitecore or that the module installation went through, as you will see a new icon for Powershell on the dashboard, and you have additional folders in the templates structure. So here's the Powershell module, and if we go to the content editor, we can see that the Sitecore content editor. Needs some time to load. In the template section, we have feature, and here's the Experience Accelerator. So now what I've done in preparation as well is add some new entries to my host file and add them to the IIS as bindings. So here on the home, everything is the same. What have changed is that if you right click on content, you will see new options. You have a tenant and a tenant folder. A tenant is kind of a substructure within the Experience Accelerator where sites within a tenant share components and can share layouts and stuff. With tenant folders, you can of course group the tenants, and if you have lots of them, as you have multiple brands or multiple companies, it makes it easier to keep the structure clean. So now we create a new tenant, and as we have experienced before creating this video, please don't use any dashes or spaces in the names. There are still a few bugs inside if you use them. So I created now a tenant called netzkern, and now I want to set up a site. For me, in order to set up a site, I can again right click here and I have the same options before. I have site folder and site. Here site folder is nothing special, it's just really a folder in order to keep the structure clean. Now for a new site, I run through a dialog as before. I give it a name. Let's call it my landing page. The host name is mylandingpage.com. Same virtual folder and the language is English. In the tenant, I had the selection to select features I want to inherit to my child sites. And here I have the option as well, so I can enable or disable features to be used. Now let's create a theme. Let's call it netzkern, for example. Also again, no spaces, no dashes. Alright, done. So now we have a new page, and within the page structure there we have a home item, of course. Below the home item overlays, I will explain later what it is. We have a data section or a data structure where we can find all the different components, and this will be used in order to share content within different pages. We know this when working with components, you have a data source to set, and there it goes. Below the presentation we have lots of different things, but I will go to the page editor, as this is the most interesting thing to go within the accelerator. Once we go to the home node and open the page editor for the first time, that loads in wireframe mode. There you can design your site without having to worry about an actual design or things you need to figure out later. So here we just now create our pages and page types and design the layout, where's the title, where's the content, are there any more columns, any more rows within the page. You have about or more than 70 different components you can add to the page, and there you have different variants you can use. And this makes it really a great tool in order to quickly and rapidly design pages. So once the page editor is fully loaded, you can see on the left side you have a small toolbox come around. I like it to have it in the free floating mode. Please be aware that in the Internet Explorer it isn't available, as drag and drop in the Internet Explorer is quite of a pain. Now, what get already out of the box is we get a header, we get a content area or main area, and a footer. For this small example, I just want to use an image in the header. So I go here and drag the image into the header area. It will ask me for a data source, so I say I want to make it reusable, so I store it in images. I give it a name header. After it's inserted, we will see that there's a placeholder we can fill, and I know I have a header image somewhere on my hard drive lying around. I want to upload this. And once it is uploaded, we can finally select it via the tree here. It's pretty quick, especially when the indexes seems to get booted. Now we have a placeholder icon for the image, but we have one, but we are still in the wireframe theme. So now let's add a footer to the page. The page content, we want to take a rich text, drag and drop it to the footer. Select the data source as before. I name it footer. So creative. I fill in some text. And I save it. I always recommend you to save after adding a couple of components, as sometimes it's still a little bit working on it. Alright, so now we have our header, we have a footer, but we have no text. So let's add a title to the main placeholder. So again, don't think about the style. We can export everything after designing the wireframe. So for now, it's just important that we get the right components in the right order. But now I want just to use not the rich, I want to use page content. On the right side, you will see the placeholders you're going to use. So now we have the page content below the title. And this should be just a simple landing page. What I want is, now I have the page content a little bit above it, so I'm going to move it below here. So now we have our page content there, we have the title, we have our header image, and I want to have a big header image. So let's change it to a big header image. For this we need to go to themes, and these are under media library. There we got a little bigger structure created for us. Here we have our landing page and our netzkern theme. Here we can set a little bit of more options regarding compatibility, and I want to use a white header. Alright, so now we can say, alright, we are done with wireframing. So let's take our theme and let's change from wireframing to our actual target theme. There we go. So now we have our white header, we have our content still above. It somehow didn't get saved, so let me move it below and save it. Alright, now it looks right. So let me change Ipsum. Let me get some text for us. Oh, maybe it's better. So text and field in order to have at least some content on our newly created landing page. But I just want to not use this. Let me do it this way. No. Alright, let me take that just a sample thing. Now we need to make the title a little bit bigger. Of course we can go and style the content. I think this is pretty straightforward and is not the big deal here. For us now, we want a little bit of styling for the page. So I want to remove this space between the toolbar, as I want to go the header to the complete top, and of course the landing page title should be "Welcome to our new landing page," and of course it should be much bigger. Alright, so let's just say I'm not an expert in designing. What I can do now is I can go and export my whole thing to HTML. So I select the default device, the whole site, landing page, the agency drop, and zip file. With this, Sitecore creates a package of all CSS, all styles, all JavaScripts, all HTML design elements, and it gives it to me via a zip package. So I can go and send this zip package to any agency I want, and they can style it and make it nice. There are lots of already designed or already defined classes and IDs within this HTML package, and it's pretty easy to just go and change a few things. Right, we downloaded it. Let's go to the file location. I want to export this. Here we go. So this is our landing page, and there we have the index HTML. If I go and open this with a little help of Visual Studio, I can see that this is how my page looks like. Here we have the header, we have a content area, and we have the footer. So this is pretty cool. What we'll do is I collapse the head, I collapse this form thing, and then we have just the parts we actually want. So I see we already have a header ID, we have some component and component classes. I can use them in order to just create a CSS and don't change anything from the HTML to get my styling done. I just went into deeper in the structure. There we have an export of the media library files, and this includes CSS classes as well. I will create a new CSS file, call it custom, and in this custom file I want to make my title bigger. How to do it? Let me just make it a little bit user friendly and open it in Visual Studio as well. Alright, so now we have our title here. It's somewhere here, title, component content, and it has a title class. So first I want to body and tag a nice font. Take a nice size, and then I want to have my title to be bigger. And of course, it should be bold. Then I know that there is a spacing between the header image and the top of the browser. In order to remove this, I need to remove the 10 pixel spacing or margin from the CSS class. So we'll go in the header ID or in the header selector, we'll go and take the component or take the HTML class where both classes are located, and remove the margin. Alright, so now we got our header bigger, and let's say we want our footer to be just smaller. So we take font size of 9. This was too small. 9 pixel. Alright, so now I have all my files changed. Now I can zip it. So now let's say the agency sent me back this package. I can click on import and go through the upload. So here's my created package, don't be confused. So now it's the dev SXA notes. It's this one and this one. It's been uploaded. Importing, and now it will tell me that hopefully it has created a new CSS style somewhere below here. Media item created, there are some folders created, and here's my custom CSS. So next, and last but not least, we need to publish the whole thing. Site, smart English, publish. So now the site gets published, or got published, and I want to let me open the new incognito window and go to mylandingpage.com. And cross my fingers. Way, there we are. There is our big header, our title and text, and the cookie disclaimer. This is an out-of-the-box feature of the accelerator. Pretty nice though. Yes, of course I confirm. That's it with the simple demo. Let me do much more complex demo and go here. Alright guys, let's go and create a much more complex site to get to know what are partials, for example. Now we're going through the same wizard as before, creating a new site. Now I will create, probably everybody of you knows, build a very simple website, or at least the ones who I went to training with. So I call it now products, and let me create a product page for our netzkern.de site. Alright, done with this wizard. Got our product site. Here is our home node of a product site, and now let's just quickly create a new template. We have our default page template, but now let's say we also want to have a product template. And for this, I'm going to create product. It is based, of course, on our page template, because this already gives me all needed fields and contents. Now, I'll just keep it this way. I just make the design. I will change the design in order to illustrate the example. Of course, you can add more fields, make it more detailed. But again, I just want to showcase what you can do. Now, we jump to the page editor. Another trick with complex sites is to use partials. Partials are kind of sub-layouts in the old Sitecore world. Here we have partial design, and I can insert a partial design. Now I will create a partial for the header, the footer, and the content area. And I could also take one partial and make this the base layout. But I think once I showed you how this works, you get the trick. So now I'm in my header partial. And a good trick in order to keep the overview and know where you are is always to use the navigation bar. Now you see you are in the header, and in the header, of course, we want to have an image. Who would have thought this? And now I'm just editing the header here as this placeholder, and the placeholder contents get inserted into the page design. Now let me take my favorite image. See if we already want to here. Upload my favorite header image. Now I will keep it in the small size. We have a separate media location. Now there's a placeholder. Alright. Save it, go to partial designs. Save it, go to partial designs, insert partial design. Now we want to add the footer. Same story as before, I will just simply add a copyright statement. For this I will add reusable rich text. Content, call it footer. My field gets inserted. Alright, now we have the header, we have the footer, and finally get to our content area. And for this I will also create a partial design as what I want to have on every page. Doesn't matter if it's a start page or the product page. I want to have the navigation. So we'll call it content. And a pretty nice feature is you can structure your page based on the Bootstrap Grid layout. So we go to page structure and call or drag and drop the splitter for columns, and I'll make a placeholder. Alright, so here we have first column. I will make it grid 2, and this will be grid 10. And in there I want to have a navigation. Inserts the navigation, and what I want to have at the navigation as well is I want to always show the route, and you can select this besides every other option here as it says include route page. Alright, done. So now we have our partials designed. Now we need to go back to our home page and design our home page. So I can go back here, products, home, and go. So for my page design for home, here it's using default, that's correct. For default, I also want to use the header, the content area, and the footer. By doing this and press save, you will see that each of those partials gets inserted into my layout. I will now get my appropriate header image, navigation area, and the footer. And here I have another space where I can now go and say, alright, this is my start page. How do I want my start page look like? So let me say I just want to go and insert rich text, just straightforward and simple. Text, welcome message. Can of course then, as we use data sources, personalize the whole thing, and this is my new product page. Welcome and hello world. Press save, and now alright, we have our start page design, we have our partials design. Now we want to go and create a product page. For this, I need to tell the home node that I can actually go and create a product page. Probably we should do it at the template standard values, as it's probably the better way to do, but in my case I think this should be fine. Now I create a product, alright, press save, and now I'm allowed to go under my home and the default content area and create my product 1. So for my product page, I want to have a different page design. So I'm going to insert a page design and call it products design, or just products should be fine. Kind of afraid about using dashes and spaces at the moment. For this we want to use the header, of course, the footer, the header, footer and content, the metadata partial, and empty. We do not need this yet. Add all of them, save it, and we should see that nothing happens. Because I did not choose the right design for this, I just configured the design. So now I pick my page design, and here I have my products, and now we should see it. There we go. Alright, this is now my product page. Now I can go and say, alright, I want to insert an image, I want to insert the product image, but for me I just want now add a title. Product 1, here we go. And the page content, which is actually a rich text. Alright, now it doesn't let me do this. Alright, now we can. Brilliant. Now text and field, page 1. This is how I want it. Save everything. And if you want now, you can of course take this, export it, send it to an agency, get it styled. But before you export it, always switch to the right theme. So for default, I want to use my theme, but it seems that it's not loaded correctly. So now we have a missing theme. I wonder what went wrong. So we have our product, we have themes in the media library, we have projects, netzkern, and there is my products, and there is no theme. What a shame. Alright, let me cheat and see if this works. I want to copy it to my products. So now it copies everything in the theme folder, and after copying the theme I can hopefully add this to the allowed themes, and then we're good to go. Let's see. So now we have this, and in the presentation there is nothing. Where was it? Settings. It was somewhere, data source, associated media, compatible themes. There we go. So project, netzkern, products, netzkern, save. And if I'm now selecting theme, I can select netzkern, and there we have the different other devices, but we just want to use it for the default. By copying this theme, I already got my first created settings imported back here. So we have the big header image, and we have the bigger title. Let's see how this looks like in the real world. So of course we need to publish the site. We type smart, should go faster than before. Alright, done with the publishing. So let's head on and see and create a new incognito window. And this was http products.netzkern.de. Alright, so welcome. This is my new product page. This was the rich text editor. Here we have our product one with the title. And of course we don't have page content yet, but of course we can edit it. And with this we can create different page types and different designs, and can reuse a lot of content by using partials. So guys, this was my quick demo about using the Sitecore Experience Accelerator. And now let me just quickly summarize some hints and things I stumbled upon during preparing and creating this video. I would usually recommend always create a theme. If you didn't create a theme first, you cannot write to the default theme which is pre-installed. Never use the space in a tenant site or theme name. When you want to export and import, you might experience some strange issues. I would also save after adding a component. Sometimes the layout break if you do not save after some context or modal dialogues will pop up. Create partials, it makes your life easier, and switch to the correct theme before you want to export. You always export the current theme you are looking at. There are already IDs and class names in the exported HTML. Feel free to use them, then you don't have to create your own, and of course inline styles are completely useless. You can find a component overview in the linked documents which you can find in the resources. So if you like this video, please let me know. I may think about creating some more videos, so just leave a comment and feel free to like the video. Thanks for watching.